Hi, this is Dara. I was asked recently by one of my students for some advice on buying a guitar, not particularly the brand, but the type of guitar. And we had a conversation around the different types of guitar, acoustic guitars in particular, that might be suitable. And I thought I'd make a quick video on just explaining and showing some of the different types and some of the different characteristics of the different guitars. So I'll get started. This guitar here, which you can probably see is a relatively small bodied guitar, is generally known as a parlor guitar. So it's almost like a 3/4 size guitar itself, and from the name of it you can well imagine that it was designed to play in parlors, small places. It doesn't have a very strong volume, but it's very lightly constructed. What you don't have in volume, you have plenty of in terms of tone. This particular guitar has all the other kind of characteristics of a typical flat top, steel string acoustic guitar, pick guard, and so on and so forth. It's made in this case of mahogany, so the sound has a particular, I'd call it a sort of a hard sound. It is a hard wood as well. And that is the smallest kind of, generally the smallest type of guitar that you'd find on the marketplace as well. They tend not to be amplified as well, so they tend not to be electroacoustic. In this particular case, I have actually put in an under the bridge pickup in a system that also has a microphone inside as well, so I can blend the sound from the microphone with the sound from the pickup under the guitar bridge. And I think that's quite important because sometimes the under the bridge, I think pretty much all the time, the under the bridge pickup can sound a little bit dry when you're playing through an amplifier, and you lose the acoustic quality or natural quality of the acoustic guitar itself, which is definitely helped by having the microphone inside the sound hole that's also blended in with this other pickup. So, parlor guitar. Next guitar I'll show you is another steel string flat top guitar. A different design and a bigger body. And again, it's kind of, with these guitars, the body shape are the main differences. So this is a O guitar, or sometimes it's called an OM size guitar. It's a much bigger body, great for bigger, wider spaces where the sound isn't as well contained. It can project a lot more. These guitars tend to be great guitars for finger picking style, folk music, and so on and so forth. Much bigger sound out of this guitar as well. Otherwise, it's very similarly constructed. This particular model has a different set of bracing inside as well. But I find the finger picking on this is really crisp and clear as well. Third type of guitar, which is probably the most popular type guitar, is the Dreadnought. And this style guitar has got a big bottom in it, big round bottom. It's a larger size than within the Triple M, and really there's one other type of guitar which is a jumbo kind of oversized guitar, which has a bigger body again. But this generally is kind of considered the most popular of guitars in terms of size, range, nice big bassy end to it as well. Now that's an open tuning, and I'm just doing some finger picking with strumming. It really has a big strong bottom end to it, and therefore it's really great for pop, acoustic music that's kind of played brightly, folk, and it's a great all-rounder in terms of, and that's why it's so popular in terms of its shape as well. So those three guitars are kind of a good mix of what you might find on the market that might suit your different needs. The Parlor Guitar is certainly very, very portable, and it's light. Now, next, what I'm going to show you is this. So, different construction. This is a classical guitar. different sound immediately brought by a couple of different differences in the design of the guitar. So first and foremost, this isn't a steel string guitar, it's a nylon string guitar. The top 3 strings are nylon, bottom 3 are wound nylon. They are at a much lower tension than the steel string guitar. They have a different timbre, different characteristic, and classical musicians, perhaps playing that genre of music, find that this sound, of course, being the original design for a lot of those pieces of music that were written in the 18th and 19th century, this is a much more suitable guitar. This type of construction has been around for about 170 years. The Dreadnought has probably been around for about 70 or 80 years, probably, something like that. Parlor guitars were a little bit before that as well. This guitar also is a much lighter construction, so the materials are much lighter. It's typically it's more shallow than the acoustic guitar that was the OM shape or the Dreadnought. And the lighter construction still projects really well. So you can still get quite a nice volume out of this, but it's typically a handmade guitar for serious classical players, although there are plenty of factory-made guitars as well. This is one of those factory-made guitars. The original design, I think, pretty much, or the design that's in play a lot at the moment pretty much comes from Spain as well. So it's a different type of guitar, different type of music, classical music, Spanish music, folk music as well, though there's lots of crossover from this style of guitar. Different sound, much softer sound as well. So that's one to consider. And then the next guitar, which is a kind of a specialist guitar, is this. So this is a Resonator guitar. So you can see immediately it's made of metal, not wood, and that's the first major difference. So you have a much stronger, brighter, and louder sound from this guitar, and that's what it's all about. So prior to electricity being able to power amplifiers and people being able to play in noisy bars and so on and so forth in the 1920s, 1930s, this style guitar was invented to be able to project a lot more. And so inside this base plate here, the design of this one is a single aluminium cone that amplifies the sound that's bouncing around inside this metal frame. There's really 2 designs. There's either a single cone design or a design with 3 individual smaller cones as well. And I think for most of the significant guitars in this area, it's been the National Resophonic, I believe, company, National Guitars, or Dobro, who've made these. They can come with the aluminium resonator inside, but within a wooden body as well. This one happens to be just all metal. And very popular then, of course, for blues slide guitar. You can play it on your lap, maybe play a little bit of Hawaiian music, though a Hawaiian guitar is different again. But this is got that metallic sound, I guess. So it's a lot more specialized. So if you were going to buy a guitar like this, you're probably already thinking of playing a certain type of music as well. Now, lastly, so the last type of guitar I'm going to show you is this, which is an archtop guitar. So as you can imagine from the name, the top of the guitar is arched. And that was that design, again, a little bit like the intention of the Resonator, was about projecting more sound in a time before amplification was around. So in the early jazz bands, there would have been a jazz guitarist on an acoustic version of this, strumming away with the band in the rhythm section. So key aspects of it are, unlike the acoustic guitars, there's a floating bridge here, which is kept in place by the pressure of the strings pushing down on it. So if I were to take the strings off, the bridge would come off. And so that's something to remember when you're restringing a guitar. Definitely advisable you take one string off and put a new string on one at a time, so that the bridge placement doesn't move, and then you find that your tuning gets all messed up. This one has amplification in it. I'll just turn it down. It can be loud, but it doesn't have the warmth of the sound of a full, thick-bodied acoustic guitar. This one isn't particularly thin, but it's not particularly thick either. And so it's really, the design is morphed to be played through an amplifier. Though some people still play Archtop acoustic guitars without any amplification. So the sound tends to be that kind of warmer tone. So a nice warm sound again. But generally, if you were going to buy a guitar like this, you would be thinking pretty much that you'd be getting it in conjunction with an amplifier. You still have that nice warm acoustic sound that goes with the guitar and is then outputted through the amplifier. But if you were to get a pure acoustic Archtop guitar, again, you might want to think about the volume projection. But they are lovely, very nice. Anyway, those are a few different body types on guitars. I hope that explains or maybe uncovers a little bit about if you were thinking of buying a guitar and you wanted to buy one with a particular type of music you'd like to play in mind. That gives you a bit of a flavor. Okay, cheers.